everyone, how are you all? I hope you're all doing well. So it's a pretty dull morning here in the Cotswolds, and I thought this morning that I might pop to our local farm shop, which is literally 5 minutes away from where I live, and do some filming and show you. They've got a little shop as well, and they've got a cafe, so I usually go and just have a cup of tea or a mocha, and they've got a lovely big open fire, which is absolutely gorgeous. So let's go and have a look. And I thought I'd mention today that I am wearing my charity shop haul. My gilet is a Reese gilet I found online, and it was basically new and I got it so cheap. It's a feather one. I think it's beautiful. And I'm wearing these J brand jeans, which I also got online, and this gorgeous little, I don't know if you can see, cashmere mix sweater, and it's got a sort of sparkly, I don't know, is it Lorex, something like that, cuff on it, and it's just really something very simple, but with a nice twist, which I think really appeals to me. And I've just got a little polo neck from Amazon actually on underneath. But I just wanted to show you that, you know, to buy all these things new would have cost hundreds of pounds, and I got them all secondhand from charity shops. This one was from a charity shop in Topsham. When I went one weekend, we went to have a look round and ended up in there getting some lovely things. So you don't have to spend a lot to look a little bit different. Anyway, I'm going to get my stuff together now, grab Elsie, and go and have a lovely peruse around our local farm shop. So I'll see you in a bit. So here we are at Jolly Nice, and it's a pretty miserable day. It's quite misty, it's quite glum, but it's good to get out anyway. In fact, it's great to get out on days like this and just do something lovely. And this here is the cafe, and they have music nights and they do locally bread, burgers and things. Here's the events board. I'll just show you the cafe through there. Isn't it pretty? But we're going to go and have a look around the shop first. They also have two little donkeys that live here that's so tiny and sweet. I've just been told by one of the staff that the donkeys are called Felix and Ellie, and aren't they adorable? Hello! Hi! Oh, you're gorgeous. Look at you. Come and say hello. Say hello to everyone. What a gorgeous home they've got. Hello. I think she is watching Elsie. Where's she gone? There she is. Elsie! Elsie, look! Look at the donkey. Have a look. Not interested, but that is one gorgeous little donkey. Oh, look! Oh, that's made my day. Look, Elsie! Look, this is Ellie! Oh, that's made my day. Gorgeous. And she's off. She's had enough of the limelight. Doesn't that look beautiful? Look at the teepee, isn't it gorgeous? And they've got lots of gorgeous pottery in here. I love these bowls for dips and things. Lots of beautiful handmade soaps. Look at these cushions. Little kits, which are really lovely. My daughter used to love doing things like that when she was little. And I love these little felted animals. Beautiful. These bags are great as well. This is my favourite part of the shop. Just look at some of these beautiful displays. Look at this Easter display, isn't that gorgeous? Look, Benjamin Bunny, cupboard stuff. These bold beans are fabulous. I eat them all the time. They're absolutely brilliant for casseroles, soups, stews, and even on their own in salads. I love the big butter beans. They're beautiful. And I love the fact they're in a glass jar as well, not a tin. Look at those olives. I feel like I'm in France. And look at these pastas, aren't they gorgeous? They're like works of art, aren't they? They're not like something you'd eat. Rhubarb crumble ice cream. That sounds nice. Chocolate brownie, pecan brittle. And I do buy sourdough from here sometimes, because sourdough is so much better for you than ordinary bread. And look at these honeys. Look at that. Honeycomb. Don't know if you can see that. Giant honeycomb. And I often buy honey from here as well because it's local, and it's the best sort of honey to buy because local honey contains antibodies and things from to protect you from viruses and things in the areas where you live. So eating local honey is really good for you. And all these butters, I must say I really like the pecan butter. And they also do, and I don't know, I've never tried this, but they also do raw milk here. I think you grab a bottle or bring your own, and you have to drink it, it says within 48 hours of purchase, but I've never tried that. I might try that at some point. All these lovely chocolates, hot chocolates. Just gorgeous. Look at that chocolate pot. I love that. Don't these look so beautiful and so spring-like? They're just lovely. They just look so sweet. And these pots made to look like old pots. I love those. Oh, look at these cheeses. Don't they look amazing? And all the pickles. Oh, just seen some apple and beetroot juice. That looks nice. Mushrooms. Look at the size of them. Before. They're called Blue Morris tomatoes. Look at the colour of those. Isn't that glorious? Beautiful colour. So I'm just having a mint tea and warming up. And I just wanted to have a little chat about midlife really and my situation. For the past few years I've been going through a pretty painful divorce, and life has been incredibly challenging and difficult, and for me and my daughter, and really it's been a series of life lessons I think that I've had to learn, and it's one of the reasons I decided to call the channel Becoming Natasha was because I feel that the past few years have been really a journey back to myself, because I lost myself for a long time. Or perhaps I'd never really felt that I'd ever been myself since I was little, really. I think, you know, for a long time I was a people pleaser. I would mould myself to behave, to be what people wanted me to be. And you know, I don't want to do that anymore, and I don't do that anymore. But it's been a really long and difficult road, and you know, I've learnt a lot of things along the way. I'm by no means a guru on anything, but you know, there are lots of things that I have learnt on this journey, and it's a journey to find my own independence. I've had to stand on my own 2 feet. I've had to become independent. I've had to become strong and resilient, and it hasn't been easy at all. But I suppose one of the most difficult things is really sitting with yourself and thinking, what is it that I want out of life? Because I think that's one of the most difficult questions we all face. It's so easy to get stuck in a track of, you know, where your life is going, and not really think about what it is you want, how it is you want to live. So I mean, there's lots to talk about there, but that's just a little bit of background on me and my situation. And one of the reasons I wanted to start the channel was also to connect with other women, because sometimes I think midlife can be pretty lonely, especially when things happen like divorce and career changes, job losses, financial problems, children moving out of home, you know, parents getting ill. I mean, there's so many things that are going on at our phase of life, and I think it's incredibly tough to stay sane. And so I think it's really good to connect and to share tips and to share moments that perhaps might lift other people. So I'm just going to sit here for a little bit longer, enjoy my mint tea, and smile. Today I'm going to make a really healthy, lovely shepherd's pie. It's that time of year, it's pretty gloomy outside, and I thought it would be really nice to make a hearty shepherd's pie with lamb and sweet potato, because sweet potatoes are so yummy, but they're also really good for you, and they have less starch than normal potatoes. So I tend to eat quite a bit of sweet potato in my diet. I tend to try and avoid as much bread, pasta, that kind of stuff, white potatoes. And yeah, this is a really just lovely homemade recipe. It's quite hearty, it's really tasty, and it's just great for this time of year. So my daughter's out all day playing lacrosse. She's in the lacrosse team, and I know that when she comes in, she's going to be absolutely starving, and this is the perfect thing to give her. So I've got all my ingredients out for you to see. I thought it would be really handy for you to see what it is I'm putting in this shepherd's pie. But you can use anything. You can use any veg, any herbs, whatever you've got in the fridge, whatever you've got left. I tend to use carrots, celery and onions. I've got some lamb here. I've got some bone broth. I've got some rosemary and some thyme, some Celtic sea salt, sweet potatoes, a little bit of pomegranate molasses there, and Worcestershire sauce, and some garlic and ghee. And the ghee is to cook with. I use Swiss ghee, which is made from naturally pure organic butter, and it is loaded with vitamin D. It's really, really good for you, and it's the best thing to cook with because it's got such a high smoke point, and it's just really, really healthy. So I'm going to chop all these vegetables up now, and then we'll get on with making the shepherd's pie. So I'm just frying up the vegetables in a little bit of ghee. I'm going to leave those on a while so that they sweat down. And I'm going to add a couple of bay leaves, put them more in, some salt, some Celtic sea salt, which is the best salt to cook with because it has the highest concentration of minerals. And my secret ingredients, which is a little bit of cinnamon, which I think gives it that lovely flavour, depth of flavour, and it's just absolutely gorgeous once it blends into the vegetables. So now the veg has sweated down a little bit, I'm going to put a little bit of pomegranate molasses in, just to add a little bit of sweetness. I prefer to use that than sugar. Along with the cinnamon, I quite like the taste, that sort of Middle Eastern taste of the cinnamon, and a little bit of sweetness from the pomegranate. And I'm also going to put in my herbs. And you can see that I've used loads of veg here, and that's because I tend not to use too much meat. And I'm actually going to try and get 2 shepherd's pies out of this mixture and pop one in the freezer for a night when I just don't feel like cooking, which is quite often these days. So that's all going to sweat down. And then I'm going to pop in my bone broth. And this stuff is absolutely brilliant. It's amazing. It's packed with collagen and lots of, it has a lot of good things in it for your hormones, your skin, your hair. It's absolutely brilliant. So popped that in, and then I will pop my meat in. I've also roasted loads of sweet potatoes in the oven because it's just the easiest way I find to do it rather than boiling them. And then what I'll do is I'll take the skins off, mash them up with a bit of olive oil, and they will go on top. So I've spooned the mixture out into 2 oven-proof dishes, and you'll notice I've only put sweet potato on one side because my daughter prefers ordinary potato, so I'm going to put ordinary potato the other side for her, and this one I'm going to put in the freezer, and then without potato, and then when I have it, I'll just do some more mash and put it on top. Well, I'm just driving to collect my daughter from school, and I just thought I would have a little chat with you about the notion of self-care. And I'd like to ask you all a question. What have you done for yourself today? What have you done that's purely self-care?
consider that perhaps that is one of the most important things. Because if you don't fill yourself up, and we've all heard this before 100 times, if you don't fill yourself up, then how can you look after everyone else? And you know, it's so true, and we know that, but yet we still fail to find the time for ourselves. And you know, we're living in really, really challenging times at the moment. You know, a lot of people are suffering, a lot of people are facing hardship, financial hardship. A lot of people are lonely, they're disconnected from nature, from other people. I mean, you only have to think about COVID to realise, you know, the impact that that had on a lot of people, and it is still having on a lot of people. And we're so disconnected from nature now as well. We don't live with the seasons anymore. You know, we've spiraled so far away from that, and it's not having a good effect on us, on our mental health, on our physical well-being. You know, and a lot of people just aren't happy, aren't content. And so I think it's a really, really good thing to sit down and think about, what is it that brings me joy? What do I enjoy doing? Think about when you were little, what was it that filled you up? What was it that made you feel passionate? Was there anything you particularly enjoyed? Are you creative? Did you enjoy the arts? Did you like dancing, music, sports? You know, what was it? Making things, what was it that really lit you up? Because that's often the thing that we ignore, and you know, that falls by the wayside when we're so busy living life or not living life. And so this channel is about that, really. It's about making time for yourself, little moments of self-care, and it's about celebrating the small things, and it's about finding pleasure in every day, finding pleasure and celebrating the beauty around us, and looking for the beauty, because it's so easy to look for the negative, and it doesn't really help. So really what we need to start doing is looking for the little things and starting to think about living life perhaps in a different way. And it doesn't have to be huge things, it doesn't have to be huge shifts, but even a little shift in your state of consciousness, even if it's for 10 minutes a day, finding 10 minutes a day to, I don't know, light a candle and sit and close your eyes, or have a lovely bath with some nice essential oils, or you know, read a book, or go for a walk, or even just sit on the sofa and cuddle the dog for 10 minutes. It doesn't have to be a big thing, but the more moments that you find during the day that are lovely, even if you're at work, if you take yourself a nice lunch in and just savour it, or go for a little walk, or listen to a lovely piece of music in the car. There's so many ways that we can lift ourselves and shift our energy, but we have to be aware of how our day is going, and we have to be aware of our mindset. And that's the difficult thing, I think, is to stand back and really think, hang on a minute, how am I feeling today? Okay, can I shift this? Is there anything I can do to make myself feel better? Momentarily even. So yeah, so that's what this channel's about, and I'm really looking forward to connecting with you all, and I'd love you all to share with me if you have done something lovely today. So I'm just about to tuck into the finished shepherd's pie, and it smells absolutely glorious. It really is the perfect comfort food for a day like today. It's just so cold and gloomy and wet, and it's also perfect for women in midlife because it's packed full of collagen, protein, nutrients. I've also served it with some, I don't know if you can see that, some sauerkraut, some dill and garlic sauerkraut, because I quite like the tanginess
of that with the creaminess of the shepherd's pie. I mean, you could serve it with beetroot, or if you like that sort of tangy taste, or green beans or something. But I like these flavours together. So I'm just going to have a taste, and if you want to make this recipe, I'd love you to let me know. Let me know how it tasted, whether you liked it, in the comments below. And I really hope you enjoyed the recipe. It is so tasty. It's just packed full of flavour. And those prebiotics in the sauerkraut are great for the digestion as well. So all in all, it's a perfect dish, a perfect winter dish. So, cheers. I hope you enjoyed it.
Life by Charlotte Bronte. Life, believe, is not a dream, so dark as sages say. Oft a little morning rain foretells a pleasant day. Sometimes there are clouds of gloom, but these are transient all. If the shower will make the roses bloom, oh, why lament its fall? Rapidly, merrily, life's sunny hours flit by. Gratefully, cheerily, enjoy them as they fly. What though death at times steps in and calls our best away? What though sorrow seems to win o'er hope a heavy sway? Yet hope again elastic springs, unconquered though she fell. Still buoyant are her golden wings, still strong to bear us well. Manfully, fearlessly, the day of trial bear, for gloriously, victoriously, can courage quell despair.